right, we are live. Hello and welcome to Gulfstream Park, Road to the Derby Live. I'm Dan Tordjman with America's Best Racing, joined by Bram, Weinstein, and Vance. We've got an action-packed hour ahead. We'll take you to the Fountain of Youth Stakes. 50 Kentucky Derby points are going to the winner, essentially guaranteeing that horse a spot in the starting gate on the first Saturday in May. But the Fountain of Youth Stakes, a few races away. And why wait to bet? We want to make some money betting the Devona Dale Stakes at Gulfstream in a couple of minutes. We'll show you the races live. We'll have live reports from Gulfstream, and we'll be betting live on First Bet, which today is offering up to $20 cash back on win bets in the Fountain of Youth Stakes if your horse finishes second or third. If the horse wins, even better. Bram, how are you doing today?
I'm fabulous, Dan. I'm really great. I just got my first pack from NBA Top Shot, so I feel very hip and young, and so I feel lucky. And I'm feeling like I'm going to win some money here at Gulfstream today, Dan. That's what I feel like, Dan.
I like it. You got to tell us more about that Top Shot in a little bit.
I will after the race. I'll tell you about it.
After the race, Allie, how are you doing? It's late night for you. Late night betting.
It is a bit. It's 10 o'clock at night, so it's not too bad. I'm in the UK, but yeah, fine and well. We can catch up after this race because I know they're heading down to the start. So, but all good with me.
All right. Well, let's show people the videos. You can see there 1 minute to post to the 12th race, the Devona Dale Stakes, going a mile in the dirt. These are 3-year-old fillies, and so they're on the Kentucky Oaks Trail. So for those who don't know, the female division of the Derby Trail is the Oaks Trail, and this is what it is. The horses here are hoping to also be in the gate on Derby weekend. And the horse here that everyone sort of knows is Vequist, the 3-horse, who, of course, won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies last year at the Breeders' Cup. So how do we get around this horse? At 3-5, not a very appealing win bet. Bram, where did you land here?
So I mean, you're asking me to pick someone other than Vequist, is what? It's like that's how you framed that. Your framing is go with something that's not obvious, and so I guess if I have to, because if you're making me do something different, I suppose Curlin's Catch I would give half a shot here. But in the end, I'm staying away because I think the 3-5 favorite is an easy winner here in this race.
All right, that's the 4-horse Curlin's Catch, 6-1 right now. Allie, how about you?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I would have picked Curlin's Catch as well if you're looking away from the favourite. He's around about, or she's rather around about 9-10 to 1 in the UK. You can get her at. So worth an each way bet with Curlin's Catch. But Vequist impressive last November, and good to see her out her first run back as a 3-year-old. But Curlin's Catch is on a bit of a roll, hoping for a 3-timer today.
All right, I see one of our live correspondents at Gulfstream now. I see the video up. We're going to get to him in just a moment. I was going to say, I like 2 prices in this race. Vequist, first race back. I may be willing to take a little bit of a chance against her. There's not much speed that's obvious in this race. Not many need the lead types. The 8-horse, though, Adios Trippy, will be going to the lead. You know she's going to be there for a while, and she might be loose. So I think she could potentially hang on. She's trained by a guy named Peter Walder, who has been red hot. Over the past month, he's actually winning at a 47% clip, which is insane. I mean, he's winning about half his races. And he's also won coming to today with 8 of his 9 starters. So he's red hot. I figure you may as well take a shot. And I'll tell you what, the horse on the rail, Hull Bodemeister, 80 to 1. I'm not saying that horse is going to win, but she ran an honest race last out. I know Bram. I know you
have this thing with that name. It's like it gets into you see Bodemeister and you just decide that you have to bet on Bodemeister. You don't have to, Dan. You don't have to just because you see this.
It's not that. This horse ran huge last out in the Forward Gal. It was her first time in Graded Stakes Company. She sat off the pace. She didn't have much room to run on the rail, and when she did, I thought she ran well. So I would take a shot with this horse. She's not finishing last. 80 to 1. She is not the worst horse in this field. I can tell you that much. Our live correspondent that I promised, his video is now dropped out. So we hope to have him back in a few moments. Blackjack Fletcher is live for us at Gulfstream Park. We'll bring him in a bit. We'll also add Ashley Mailloux, who you remember from our streams all last year. She's now working with the Stronach Group but she's also doing some reporting on site, and so we're excited to have her back. All right, I think we have Blackjack. I think so. His face looks like it's frozen. The Blackjack. Can you wave at us? You want to wave at us? Okay. All right. Here we go.
Hi, Danny.
There it is. What's going on, brother? Set the scene for us.
How are we doing here, Dan?
We're doing good. Who do you like in this race? Uh-oh. Doesn't look good. We'll try you again, brother. We'll try him again. All right. Let's get to the audio here. The Devona Dale Stakes coming up. We're going to unmute that. Are we here?
Are you going to call this one for us?
No, we should be having sound. Have sound. Do you have sound?
Yeah, I mean, I hear it, but I'd prefer you call it just because I want to see how you do. But, you know.
Hells no. This is the time where we drink. Cheers.
All right, so we're a race away from you being drunk enough to possibly call the next race for us? Is that where we are?
It's a possibility. Possibility. By the way, start thinking about the bets. With first bet today, if your horse loses but finishes second or third, you get your money back.
I like that. Will they do that constantly or just today for this one?
We'll see how today goes. If enough of us bet, maybe. All right, so if you're picking up the audio here, they're all loading into the gate. A couple of horses left. Your big favorite here, Vequist, who won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies last year. This is the first of 3 races we're going to show you live here on Gulfstream Park Road to the Derby Live. This is the Devona Dale. Race 13 is the very one, and race 14 is the Fountain Youth Stakes, the feature. We've got some cool backtracks too. We're going to take a look at some classic runnings of the Fountain Youth Stakes, which will be fun too. So hang tight for that. For now, looks like they're having a little trouble there, a little trouble loading in. I think we have Black.
What's that one? Crazy Beautiful. See, I think that one's got half a shot here too, Dan. Actually.
Well, why didn't you say that before? Now it's late.
Well, because I don't think anyone's beating Vequist, but you made me pick one and you put me on the spot and I gave you the one I think it's going to be Curlin's Catch, but I wouldn't be completely shocked if 6 Crazy Beautiful's the one that ends up on top here. This feels like a limited field though. I mean, I know you want the 50-1 one, but come on.
Yeah. 80-1. Steve, are we taking favorite? Yes. Okay, here you go. Enjoy the race.
A smooth beginning for the race favorite Vequist, and she'll reach out for some forward position. Moving out the rail, Whole Bodymeister is on the offense early. Far outside goes 3 Tipsy Chicks with Penn Street not far away. Now splitting horses, here's Adios Trippy. So Adios Trippy will go after Whole Bodymeister. They're the top duo, with Vequist now third. Curlin's Catch at the inside is fourth, followed by Penn Street. Then Milfoy from the outside of her and Crazy Beautiful. It's a length and a half to Competitive Speed, who's dropped better than 7 lengths off the lead. 3 Tipsy Chicks is on her outside.
Look at the smile on Dan's face. You can just see it oozing out of him.
Quarter and head to the half-mile point. If
this happens,
inside, Adios Trippy keeping her on us from the outside. These top 2 have 3 on Curlin's Catch, who's now third. Milfoy is now moved up between horses to take fourth. 3 wide while fifth. That's Vequist. Out 4 wide on the course. Here's a move from Penn Street. That'll force Irad to send Vequist on with the task, as she'll need to keep her spot. She's responding nicely at the 3 furlong point, and Whole Bodymeister is still in front. From the outside, here's that move from Penn Street in Competitive Speed toward the rail and Curlin's Catch.
Vequist is done.
Wind it up from the back is Crazy Beautiful. Happy Constitution's out of last, and 3 Tipsy Chicks is the trailer, and Vequist will have to do a lot better than that. She's losing ground to Whole Bodymeister, who's 50-1 and 5-20. There's an 8 to a mile to
Come on!
Bodymeister.
Dan Tordjman's the best. Oh my God, you're the best.
Crazy Beautiful tries to get Competitive Speed for second. Penn Street running on for fourth, but a huge run at a huge price. Edgar Zayas and Whole Bodymeister shocked the Devona Dale. They won by 5.
What do you say, folks?
Second, Crazy Beautiful. Third was Competitive Speed, and fourth was Penn Street.
Dan, what do you got in the next race?
Should
Dan,
I
you want to
leave
quit
now?
and
I'm
celebrate?
do better than that. I'm never going to
do you
do
want
better
to sit
than that.
here and actually? Do you want to actually sit here and talk to us after you just pulled 50-1? Like you walk on the air and you're like, 50-1.
I don't know. I mean, look,
Danny Dimes. Steve called you Danny Dimes. That's great.
Oh my God. That was awesome. I will always take a chance against a short-priced horse like Vequist making her first start of the season. Again, the goal is to make the Kentucky Oaks, right? I mean, she didn't have much there. I mean, that was obviously you want to see a little more than that. The goal is to make the Oaks and set yourself up for a good, successful year. She didn't have to run a top race today. It was her first race of the year. I figured I'd take a shot. And this horse, I'm telling you, you watch her replays, she always runs an honest race, and she just didn't have much running room last out. So, look, did I think she was going to win at 50 to 1? Yes.
Did you bet it, Dan? Tell me you bet it.
So I've got some money across on her, and I've also used her in a pick 4 that I'm playing. So now things get interesting. I singled Got Stormy. I used only 3 horses there. And now the next 2 races should be interesting.
So who have you got in the next 2? Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, no, we can get to it now. I mean, I'm
50 to 1. That's a fat pick 4 if that one comes through.
I'm trying to remember. So right now, I've got good coverage the next few races. I got 2, 4, 7, 10 in the next, and 1, 6, 7, 8, and we'll cover who those horses are exactly.
Dan,
in a little
2021 might be your year, Dan. Wow. I mean, it's been a long time coming, but I'm feeling like this is the year of Dan. This is amazing.
Now
I'm just glad I get to witness it.
Now I'm in the awkward position where, like, all the comments, I feel like I've got to show some of them, right?
Dan has a new crush.
I have to show some of them. I mean, look, I hope people followed and threw in a couple of bucks on the horse at least. Of course, I was expecting my dad to cheerlead anyway, even if I
look
lost.
at that super, Dan. 50 to 1, 9 to 1, 50 to 1, 80 to 1. Oh, what is that price going to be?
I didn't hit that. There you go. Champagne and JD. Oh, we got Jason calling it a speed bias. Jason calling it a speed bias. All right. As we wait and hope to reestablish connection with Blackjack Fletcher, let's talk a little bit about the Fountain of Youth Stakes. So over the years, this has been one of the earlier stops, but an important stop on the Derby Trail. I wanted to take a look back at one of my favorite Derby Fountain of Youth races. It happened in 2013, and it was the moment where I absolutely fell in love with the horse who'd go on to win the Kentucky Derby. So let's take a look back at this flashback to the 2013 Fountain of Youth Stakes.
They went 3/4 in 108 and 4. Orb is third and closing in at the top of the lane. It's Violence in front. On the outside, Orb comes after him. Majestic Hussar is at the rail. Orb runs by Violence. Orb has taken the lead. And Orb on the outside has won.
We all remember Orb?
So we get Felica on here, Chris Felica from ESPN every so often, and he hit Orb as a futures bet. That's like one of his famous futures bet for the Kentucky Derby. He had Orb at, I think it was 125 to 1, something like that. But, when you're making a pick like that in, I don't know, whenever, October, before the Kentucky Derby, you deserve to get those numbers. Dan's just like, nah, I'll take 50 to 1 day of, baby. 50 to 1, 50 to 1, Dan. Red hot. Whatever you're picking next race, I'm in.
I got a horse I like in the next race, and we'll get into that in a moment. I do want to say, though, we talk about the Fountain of Youth Stakes. Orb trained by Shug McGahee, winning the Derby there, going on to win the Derby. And he's got the favorite in our feature today, Greatest Honor. Allie, I'm interested in hearing, first of all, what you think about Greatest Honor and whether you think he's beatable today.
Well, we're going to get onto our £20 picks, but obviously sent it to you earlier. But yeah, I'm a Greatest Honor fan. I think that he's unbeatable in this. I think he was obviously an impressive, easy winner. He had to come quite wide in his last run, the Holly Bull. He's race fit. He's beaten lots of them today. So I like him. I think he's quite short price, but given that who we're betting with are going to be giving them money back if he comes second and third, then he's a bit of a no-brainer for me. The dangers for me are Drain the Clock. The step up and trip doesn't bother me for this one. Won by a huge margin, 13 lengths the last couple of races. I think he could get a good run on the rail. And Prime Factor is my other danger. I like this one at a bigger price. I think if Todd Fletcher is willing to sort of stick with him, give him a chance at this top level and his jockey, then I'm sort of looking at Prime Factor as a possible danger, a bit of a possible dark horse. But Greatest Honor for me, I think that he's going to be pretty hard to beat. But it is a bit boring of me because he's obviously the favourite. And I'm looking forward to hearing your massive price outsider.
Well,
Dollar Exacta last race 572.60. Superfecta last race 14,000. 10-cent Superfecta 14,000. Over $14,000. 10-cent Superfecta last race.
Wow, I did not have it, but those payouts are just insane. That is incredible, and that's, you know, we say it all the time. It only takes one. You find one long shot, you make it pay. I'm not gonna lie, like I made some decent money there, playing money across the board on that horse, but I want to hit this pick 4. I mean that's right. I need to make it count there. In terms of greatest honor, went into the Holy Bull Stakes last out, not as the favorite. Prime Factor was the favorite in that race. In fact, there were 2 other runners in that race who come back here for the Fountain of Youth Stakes. Want to take a look at the stretch run of the Holy Bull, in which you'll see Greatest Honor pulling away from the field.
And he's charging hard. Greatest Honor is taking the lead now. Less than a quarter of a mile to go, and Greatest Honor starts to get away. Prime Factor didn't have much of a punch when he was called on. Tarantino's going to try to fight him off for second, but they're all battling for minor placings behind Cortland Farms. Greatest Honor. He's an easy winner under Jose Ortiz. 5 in front in the end. Tarantino fought back for second. Prime Factor was third.
Tarantino comes back. A little bit of a spoiler. I like that horse. We'll get to that. And the 4th place finisher, Papitu, also comes back here. We want to know who you out there think will win the Fountain of Youth Stakes. So drop us a comment. We might put it on the screen. Tell us why you like the horse. And we'll see. I mean, remember, the first bet option is out there. All you got to do is finish in the top 3 and you get your money back. You can't really beat that. Let's take a look at the Very One Stakes. It's race 13 at Gulfstream Park. This is where I'm really going to rely on Ali. It's a mile and 3/16 on the turf. When it comes to turf, I'll side with the European always. There aren't any European runners, so I'll side with the European analyst. Ali, what did you think of this race? A couple of real quality horses here, a good betting race.
Well, you say there's no European runner. There are horses that have run in Europe. Right. California Queen. Of course, she's just transferred to Chad Brown, having her first run. Last seen running in the mud at in France on Arc Day. And when I say in the mud, I mean properly deep, heavy going. It was horrible. It rained for the whole week, and it was horrible that day. So obviously, hugely different conditions for California Queen today. She's actually bred in Germany, which is not perhaps sort of a well-known racing nation, but they're very good at breeding their slightly longer distance horses and horses that come improve with age. So you can expect her to improve. She's now a 4-year-old, and this obviously over slightly sort of longer distance compared to some of the sort of sprinter types in Europe. So that's California Queen. I can't say that she's on top of my shortlist. Another Antoinette is the favourite, and actually, I mean, she's got great form coming into this race. She's the class filly, but interestingly, I read a quote from Godolphin US President Jimmy Bell, who said that she's had a nice break. She didn't run very well in her last race at Keeneland. She had a nice break, and he says, I quote, "It's a chance to get her toe back in the water. It's about trying to get the rust off and hopefully looking for an opportunity to improve ahead of a stronger turf races later in the season," which makes me kind of think, maybe I'm reading into it, that this is just a bit of a sort of prep race for later on the season. She's perhaps good enough to win anyway, but is she really wound up? Is she super fit for this race? So that's my sort of question mark for Antoinette in this race. And then going back to the sort of European line, I like a horse called Tuned, which is owned by Al Shakab, so Qatar owned, and this one bred over in the UK, Europe, and again one that raced in France 2 seasons ago, back in 2019, before transferring over here. And although she's been there or thereabouts, I think her last run when she was finished 4th at Gulfstream, that's a race that a lot have come out of. That filly's grade 3, and I just like her at a big price. I mean, you guys obviously have different odds over there, but for us, she's around about 12-1, which I think is not a bad price for her in this race.
We'll take a look here at some of the odds. Tuned is the 4-horse, 6-1 right now. So a bit of a
So she's a bit better over here. She's 12 to 1.
So how about this replay? Not bad.
I mean, when was the last time you can remember 3 horses at least 50 to 1 ending up in the top 4 of a race? I can't remember that. That's crazy. I mean, and the heavy favorite isn't on the board. In fact, I think Vequist ended last. If I saw the replay right, I think she ended last.
Now that I'm looking at the head on, if that's her,
no. She did. Well,
did they pull her up? Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully, nothing wrong with her there. Obviously, let's make that clear as well. To me, it just seemed like she didn't fire, and they just, kind of just stopped trying. So we'll see. But in terms of this upcoming race, and Ali, good on you to call out me completely taking away California Queen's claims to Europe just based on the fact that she's now trained by Chad Brown. So I don't know where I came up with that from, but thank you for giving us some of the background there. And especially, I thought it was interesting, the discussion about horses, who race in Germany, who we don't see too many of those horses here, versus horses who run in France, who we do often see come over. The form in France is not as great with that horse. Obviously, running in Group 1 and Group 3 company, those are tough races. But obviously, the form in Germany was a little bit better. And interestingly, Chad Brown, you look at some of his numbers, you would think that he does, really, really well with everything that comes over to him. But you look at the ROI, it's not great. He's won with his last couple of horses that made their U.S. debut on the turf here, coming over from Europe. But prior to that, it had been 20 races since he'd won with a European horse that had come over first out. So, I don't know. Bram, what do you make of that? Where did you land here?
So, unlike you, like when I do land on a bigger number, and there's no 50 to 1 here, but I do kind of like Heavenly Curlin a little bit. And I say it with pause because I'm never confident when I'm on the wrong side of the odds board. But earlier today, when I was kind of looking through it, like the last go for Heavenly Curlin, I think is the reason why the number is what it is, which it really just kind of a failed the menace situation. And it did not look like a good outing, and maybe that horse is going the wrong direction. But if you go back beyond that, and I'm kind of looking at back beyond that, I think that it's there. Like, so that's a good number to me. 10 to 1 on Heavenly Curlin is one that I'm looking at very closely. And Warlike Goddess has only raced twice, has won handily twice. This is a big step up for Warlike Goddess. The numbers are starting to trend towards, I don't know where she opened morning, like 10 to 1, now down 5 to 1. So the money is starting to go in that direction too. And we'll see where that one lands. So I think a number of the bettors are kind of looking at that one as well. And I feel that way too. So those are the two that I'm looking at right now. I like the other Chad Brown horse, Bacchanalia. I think I'm pronouncing that right. But I get my gut feeling on that one is just not of the class to win here. So I probably wouldn't take a shot at 9 to 2, 5 to 1 on Warlike Goddess. And maybe if I could convince myself enough that Heavenly Curlin's last race was an aberration and not the future, then I love 10 to 1 on that horse. And I think it's good value here today.
Yeah, look, I like the logic. Give the horse another shot. My only hesitation with that one in particular is that her only other race over the turf was that race on debut, and that wasn't great either. So, we'll see. I mean, certainly all these horses, that one in particular, I think has some upside, and you're going to get value based on that last effort. The other one you mentioned, I think, is also interesting, Warlike Goddess, jumping up from Allowance Company into this level for Bill Mott, who's been red hot, especially, with his turf runners. Ali mentioned Antoinette, who's one of 2 horses in here for Mott. I kind of sided with Antoinette a little bit more. I don't know. Look, I don't think Antoinette's going to win, but I kind of sided with her a little bit more just because from a pace perspective. I feel like even though this race is longer and we don't talk about pace as much in these longer distance races, mile and 3/16, she's a front running type who's going to probably not take too much pressure here. So I think she sticks around. And so if you want to kind of use her in a couple different spots, I don't think that would hurt. The one that I landed on was the 2 horse here, Belle Laura, look at this board. That's your favorite at 9 to 2.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is wide open, Dan. I mean, I really like. I think there's like really one toss in this race, and it's the one horse. And I think the odds board kind of reflects this. That there's a plethora of legitimate contenders here. So throw a dart. So I think you got to end up wherever you land is where you land, and you're not going to be wrong. For coming to whatever that conclusion is. I just think we have a very close race, a very competitive race. These are the toughest ones to pick. Like I think more so than the Fountain of Youth. The Fountain of Youth to me screams as it's very top heavy with 2 or 3 real contenders, and we may get a surprise, but that's how it feels to me. This one doesn't feel that way, and I think that's why it's hard. And that's why I'm looking at Heavenly Curlin going, okay, 10-1 is pretty good value, or 9-1, whatever it is. Like, I think she's as much in it as any of these other ones. And then Warlike Goddess, same thing. Like, it's a big step up, but I don't necessarily think that the others are clearly ahead of them. So I don't think you're wrong with the 2 either. I think that's a fine spot to land on too.
Allie, real quick, I noticed you drinking out of something that looked like a coffee mug.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's late-ish. So yeah, I'm on my coffee. I'm afraid. Yeah. So it's 5 o'clock for you lot. So yeah, you're starting early.
Well, I mean, you have a decision to make at 10 o'clock, right? I mean, you can either go one way or the other. You've clearly chosen the more conservative path.
I'm really very boring. No. I've had a few glasses of wine earlier in the evening, but now I'm on the coffee. I don't know if you can see the cards behind, but I had a baby about 6 weeks ago, so my sort of eyes have been held up slightly by matchsticks, and I usually be up at this time anyway. But after 6 weeks of not a lot of sleep, I'm on the coffee. That's my 3rd coffee in about an hour as well. So I'm sorry if I start getting jittery as well, but no, it's all good. I'm just actually looking at the pictures of Gulfstream. What's the crowd situation with you guys in America at the moment, or particularly in Florida?
So limited capacity today, limited attendance. Fans are allowed. I believe there were 2,000 reserved seats sold, or at least that was what was available. Of course, the horsemen, owners, trainers, and everybody kind of tied to the horse. I believe they're all allowed to come. Now, it varies from state to state. I think we've talked about this. Some states have opened up a bit more over time. Some have kind of kept more restrictions in place. But even here, and I say here, I'm physically located in New York right now. We've gradually opened our, restaurants and everything else, and then also stadiums. Bram, you could probably speak to this. I know stadiums up here in the Northeast are open, at least at limited capacity, and they're starting to open. There's
like nothing uniform happening here. I mean, it kind of depends it really depends where you are. And considering how shut down New York and Jersey and all that stuff has been, I was surprised to hear that they were opening that stuff up there. Down here, we are still completely shut down in the Washington area, that you can't go in. I mean, the closed arenas, of course, not. And so it's very limited. And we'll see what happens with the outdoor venues like over the next month or 2. But down in Florida, it's kind of been Wild West all along. I mean, they've been way more open to a lot of things throughout the last year. So I'm not surprised that they're allowing people in, and I'm surprised it's not more than that, because they never really shut down much down there. So it's in this country right now, it's 58 different countries. Like it depends where you go, and then you'll find out what the rules are. And sometimes it's hard to follow. What's going on overseas? What are they doing over there?
We're completely locked down. So we obviously locked down last spring, and then over the summer we sort of opened up, and actually there was a few crowds allowed racing sort of in the autumn time. And then from November onwards, we've been pretty much locked down. So now schools are closed, shops, everything's closed apart from supermarkets, no pubs, no restaurants, nothing. So it's been a bit sort of like Groundhog Day, but the racing's carried on. So it's all behind closed doors, and they're testing, and they're very sort of all the safety measures are in place. So thank God there's racing. And actually, in terms of the racing industry over here, it's doing really well, because everyone's desperate for sport, desperate to have a bet, something to do at the weekends or something to do every day. So the industry is doing pretty well given the situation. But I think everyone, sort of sanity's been tested and wants to get back out to racing, or just to see family and friends. So hopefully the light is at the end of the tunnel. We've had a few announcements from the government, and hopefully opening up, the owners can return around about the end of March, and then we're looking about mid-May before we get any crowds back at the race course. So it sort of seems a long way away, but at least hopefully our vaccination program's been pretty good. So hopefully we'll be back racing by the summer at least anyway.
Yeah, what do you think, Dan? What do you think the Derby's going to look like? How many people do you think they're going to let in there?
Oof. Yeah, look, I think a good target would be 25,000, but that's
25,000. 25,000, no infield, right? No infield,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's pretty good.
I mean, that's a target. I don't know, I don't know where we're going to be in a month.
It's quite though. Churchill Downs, it's not, you know, social distancing there. It's sort of, you know, there's quite a few pinch points at the course, aren't there, where you can't necessarily have big wide open spaces, and you'll cram into the, you know, the stands there, and it's not an easy stadium, easy race course to be socially distanced at, but we'll see.
That's a good point. And on the flip side, this comment here, I think, speaks to something we're talking about, what you're just talking about. Gulfstream designed to be open for fans and flowing. And so there is room. It's kind of an open air, open space track, lots of room on the apron as well. So, that's perhaps one reason why you're seeing more people at Gulfstream. Also, this comment here, we should start with this, of course. Congrats, Allie. Congrats. How exciting.
Oh, yeah, exhausting.
Allie, first child?
No, second, which adds a whole another level of exhaustion when you have a toddler as well. But no, all good. Yeah.
1 to 2. I got 2. 1 to 2 is a dramatic shift. One's a shift.
Oh, yeah,
Two's a dramatic shift.
Now I was like, what? Yeah. It's but you know, as I said, lockdown, nothing's going on. I'm not missing anything. It's kind of a good time to be at home and not doing a great deal. So it's all good. Yeah.
So did the baby get a name that's directly associated with the virus or pandemic so that you can mark the time? Like is the baby's name Corona or something like that? Did you go that direction?
No, he's called Rocky. So they're different.
Oh, he's a fighter. All right, fighter.
Yeah, he's pretty big. So he kind of looked like a Rocky rather than anything else. So yeah. But he's been inflicted to plenty of racing so far in his short life. Yeah.
Yeah, he also had a 50 to 1 horse in the last race. You're not the only one.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of long shots, the one long shot you counted out here, and I would too, to be honest, is the one horse, Lovely Love, trained by Safi Joseph Jr. And what I wanted to point out about Safi is that he has a horse that we've kind of touched on a little bit in the Fountain of Youth Stakes coming up, named Drain the Clock. So this is the interesting horse here, the wild card, who's stretching out from 7 furlongs, who has been absolutely dominant sprinting in both the Swale Stakes last out, which he won by 6 1/4 lengths, and in the race before, the Limehouse Stakes. I thought the Limehouse Stakes for Drain the Clock was even more impressive because of how fast he went early. Yeah. It was 21-3 for a quarter, 44-4 for the half. He took over turning for home. Let's take a look at how Drain the Clock finished up in that race.
With a 1/4 mile left to go, it's Warrior's Pride who just lost the lead to Drain the Clock. Tiger tries to get to him through a 44 4/2 mile. Into the stretch, it's now Drain the Clock with an 1/8 of a mile to go. He's on top and moving away. Tiger's trying to get into second toward the inside. Warrior's Pride down the center and Runway Magic, but a nice big run here today from Drain the Clock, the son of McLean's Music. Sharp in victory to win by 5.
What do you guys think? What do you make of that one?
I'm sure like after this race we'll get into it more. I think that's the wild card here. Like that one's the wild card here. Like if that horse is going to get out to the front and maybe it's possible he won't get caught. And that's where the upset comes. I mean, I think, it's hard to not like Greatest Honor in the next race, like really hard not to like Greatest Honor. But if there is one that I think is the wild card that could pull it off, it probably is Drain the Clock.
Allie?
Yeah, well, I think I've already touched on that. I like him, and like you guys, you in the last race, your Bodymeister, there's that chance you're going to just get out in front, stick on the rail, have the shortest distance to cover, and perhaps the others won't be able to get back at him. But I haven't included him in my $20 bet. I like Greatest Honor a lot more, so yeah, I don't think he's quite a big enough price to be tempted, but could be proved very wrong.
Yeah, I think what will be key, and you pointed this out when we were talking earlier, is, I've asked you to send in your bets for the $20 bet that we're doing on First Bet coming up. As a reminder, again, you could make that bet. If your horse loses, you still get your money back up to $20 if you finish second or third. But the challenge in doing that ahead of time is you want to kind of make an assessment based on looking at the odds, based on looking at the board. which we'll be able to do here coming up after this race. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll dig deeper into the Fountain of Youth Stakes. For now, we are close to post time here. You see the horses going onto the turf track for the Very One Stakes. As I mentioned,
who you got, Dan? Who you got?
For me, it's 2 horses. It's Belle Laura, the 2-horse. She was on the wrong lead through the stretch last out, and she finally switched off. She accelerated late. She gets an upgrade in jockey here to Edgard Zayas. I love Belle Laura. You're getting 4-1. Even though she's the favorite, I think that's value. And I like the 7-horse a little bit, who you mentioned, Bram, Bacchanalia. I think, look, pretty lightly raced for a 5-year-old. She missed big chunks of time over the past 2 seasons. What we've seen has been good. This is a step up in class, but I think she's got a real shot. Bram, your final thoughts on this race?
So I'm going to stick with my 2, but I'm going to shy away from Heavenly Curlin, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is on Warlike Goddess, and I'll take a shot there. I know it's a step up, lightly raced. I like where the odds boards is going. I mean, it's dropping down. The public seems to think that there's a real shot here. And I like Leparoux Mott combination here. I'm going to go Warlike Goddess in what I think is a very, very tight field to call, but that's all. I'll go with the 9.
Allie?
With slight European thread with Tuned, bred over in the UK, run a bit in France, came over, won twice over a mile. I just think he's a high quality horse, and perhaps we're going to see the best of her rather today. And ran well creditably last time, but will hopefully come on for the run, and has got that one run under her belt, which some of these haven't.
Couple of viewers posting their picks for the race, 4 and 7, race 13 here coming up. Crockett and Tubbs going for a quesadilla. Just a quick little quesadilla.
Okay. I mean, in this, when you say like I'm going to get a quesadilla, does that mean you're going to your kitchen, or are you actually going somewhere to get a quesadilla? Because it feels like in real life, when you normally say that, you would be going somewhere. And in this world, that means you're not doing that. So where are you going to get the quesadilla? You're making one?
Or is that a metaphor for something? Are we missing something?
Right. Is that an inside joke that I'm not on the inside about? Like, what does that mean, Dan? Quesadilla time. What's that mean?
I don't know. Allie, have you heard of
something really spicy and hot? I don't know.
I don't know. It's like what? Like if the 4 wins, we just flash up quesadilla time, like up on the screen. Is that what happens?
Oh man! By the way, for those interested who want to see me, sort of suffer languish here, if I get knocked out of the pick 4, or who want to root for me and with me, the 4 horses I've used in this race on my pick 4 are the 2 Belle Laura, the 4 Tuned, the 7 Bacchanalia, and then I used the horse on the outside, Sister Hannon. Back-to-back allowance winner over the turf at Gulfstream, finished 4th in the grade 3 last out, but she made a really nice move in that race, despite also not having much room to maneuver down on the rail. I think if she stays in the clear here, which from the 10 post she should have every reason to do, she could be interesting. We catch a 10-1 here. I may not be able to do the next 30 minutes. So just be ready for that.
What was your first leg? What was the odds on the first leg?
It was Got Stormy. It was a favorite. I think she went off like 6-5. So
you're sitting pretty with 50-1. Yeah. I mean, you're sitting pretty either way here at 50-1.
Let's get through this race. All right. Here's the sound of the Very One Stakes.
And they're off in the grade 3, the Very One. Good start for Belle Laura from down toward the inside. Out the rail, Lovely Lovey. Antoinette comes away in good shape. From the far outside, Sister Hanan looking to work over. Bacchanalia has the same idea. They race ahead of Tuned and Heavenly Curlin. 3 wide in California Queen. And dropping to last is Warlike Goddess. Past the wire the first time, Antoinette tugging on Jose Ortiz and up for a narrow advantage. Down at the rail, it's Belle Laura. Out 3 wide, Sister Hanan. Coming off the fence went the gray Lovely Lovey. She's into 4th now while racing in the 2-path. Bacchanalia spun out 3 wide ahead of Tuned, then California Queen. Unhurried at the back are Heavenly Curlin and Warlike Goddess. The opening quarter was 23-4. They exit the turn and straighten out for their journey up the backstretch. Up front, Antoinette in the Godolphin Blue on top a length and a half. Sister Hanan is there second. Edgard Zayas has Belle Laura parked at the rail third. From 4th and Lovely Lovey, then Bacchanalia and Tuned. California Queen.
This was the one scenario I was scared of. Antoinette getting loose and beating me.
Back, Warlike Goddess and Heavenly Curlin. They make their way past the half-mile point and swing to the far turn. They went 49 seconds flat for the opening half-mile. Antoinette with the fresh legs. She leads by a length and a half. Sister Hanan second. Belle Laura's had a good trip, third at the fence. Followed by Lovely Lovey, then Tuned and Bacchanalian. California Queen will have to launch a bid soon, and so will Warlike Goddess and Heavenly Curlin as their last of all after 3/4 and 1:13-1. They arrive at the top of the stretch with their ears up. Antoinette has the lead by an X. Sister Hanan is there second. Tuned working into the clear for an opportunity. Belle Laura and California Queen are next as they straighten for the drive. Jose Ortiz trying to get one more furlong from Antoinette. She's responding and leads by 2. Sister Hanan is second. Tuned on the outside. Belle Laura toward the rail. But the more they asked, the more she gave. Antoinette goes all the way.
No.
By 2.5. Second was Belle Laura, close for third. 153.
Dan, I feel for you. I mean, a 50-1 and a pick 4, you should win. That's what karma should be.
And that's of course that's the last horse off my ticket. I knew there was a scenario in which she just got so loose. She walks through 50, a half and 50, and whatever 3/4 was there, and just absolutely, she's a classy horse. I mean, obviously she's gonna kick clear. You don't put any pressure on her. She's gonna win. She's going to win that race every time. I mean, they're all going about the same speed. They may even be going a touch faster than her, but they're not going to catch up to her when they give her, that much of a cushion early.
Yeah, I think she had a bit in hand actually, though. I think she was. Yeah, she had a lovely run of the race, and she was on the rail, and she seemed to be very settled. A lot of them behind. I mean, I was watching my tunes. She seemed just a bit too keen early on and ran out of petrol. But I think Antoinette had the ideal race, but I don't think she would have. I'm sorry, I don't think she would have been beaten today. Nice horse, nice looking horse.
Yeah. Look, yeah, she's got she's running in some decent company here over the past year or so, and so this is that breakthrough moment which you had to figure would come eventually. Like I said, Bill Mott has been red hot on the turf. So plenty of reasons to like this horse, and you get a fair price today because the board was so balanced. So,
well, Dan, quesadilla time. Dan.
Well, at least I'll be able to focus now on the next few races. Or the next race, I won't be as distracted thinking about all the money that I could be winning. And of course, second, third, and fourth, the horses on my ticket. I would look for. You see, for me, I would look for all these horses, bet them back next time, because you're disadvantaged when you're sitting behind a horse who's loose like that. And so, look, I'm not taking anything away from Antoinette. She ran a big race, but it's really hard to make up ground when there's no one pressing the pace. And so, her getting loose was big. And Belle Laura took back early, which also, I think changed, the whole dynamic and complexion of it. I don't know that she wanted to sacrifice herself, or that they wanted to sacrifice her in some sort of sort of pace battle, or at least going faster than they should have early. So,
all right. So we've seen these last two. Who's getting out in the front in the next race? Because that's who's winning.
Well, it's drain the clock. We know it's drain the clock, don't we?
Yeah. So, all right. Shh. That's who I'm taking. Don't tell anybody. That's the direction I'm going now.
Yeah.
So we'll take this off the screen for a moment, and we'll reset because we are coming up to the Fountain of the Youth Stakes. We hope to have a live report coming up soon from Ashley Mailloux, who is at Gulfstream Park, covering the races for us and for Gulfstream Park today. There are a number of interesting horses. We've talked about Drain the Clock. We've talked about your favorite Greatest Honor. We've talked about Prime Factor. Fire at Will is another interesting horse. This is one who won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, but his pedigree doesn't entirely, I don't think, preclude him from winning at the distance on the dirt. Declaration of War, the past few years have won multiple graded stakes going along in the dirt. Got Silver Prospector, who won on the Southwest Stakes on the Derby Trail last year. Fire at Will, though, does actually have a race on the dirt. Won the With Anticipation Stakes last year after that race washed off the turf. Let's take a look back at Fire at Will in that race.
It's Blame the Booze, challenged on the inside by Fire at Will. And Fire at Will has fired here now to take the lead. Blame the Booze continues to battle on the outside. It is Fire at Will, Blame the Booze, Fire at Will with the lead inside the 16th pole. Blame the Booze on the outside. Fire at Will, half length. Blame the Booze in second. Fire at Will to win the Off the Turf with Anticipation.
Tricky horse. Where did you land on Fire at Will, Allie?
Well, yeah, I think it's interesting on this one. Obviously, beat Aidan O'Brien, the Irish trained Battleground, to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Now, Battleground is a horse that came to the Breeders' Cup with a big reputation. He'd won at Royal Ascot, he'd won at the glorious Goodwood Festival, so 2 big summer meetings in the UK. He'd won there. And he's a horse that is impeccably bred. Battleground, out of Arc winner Found, Breeders' Cup. Came second in the Breeders' Cup to Enable, and by Warfront. So is a beautifully bred horse and was favourite for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. But looking ahead to this season, Battleground you'd think would be right up there for Aidan O'Brien, and that he'd be thinking Guineas, Derby, the our Triple Crown races. But he's been recently quoted to say that he thinks the Battleground perhaps will miss those early big season targets and go to the go have a prep race and then go for Royal Ascot, which perhaps makes me question, where he is in the ranking order at Ballydoyle. Ballydoyle have a huge host of really talented 3-year-olds to pick from. So where's Battleground, and then where does that make Fire at Will? How good was that win basically in the Breeders' Cup? Fire at Will was 33-1 that day. How much do we read into that race? And then looking at his previous starts, what did he beat there? He beat 3 home and then 5 home. So, how good is that form? It looks good on paper. Nice to have ones by his name, but I personally think he's vulnerable. I've talked about Greatest Honour. We've all talked about Drain the Clock, and I think we're now looking a little bit more seriously at that one as a serious threat. And Prime Factor as well, another one that I quite like for decent connections. But Fire at Will, not in my $20 wager.
So that's a down vote for Fire at Will. Bram, any interest in Fire at Will?
Going to be in my bet. When you made me make this bet 14 hours ago, I really loved Greatest Honor. You're like, don't give me a chance to think about it a little bit. So when this graphic pops up that says what I'm betting, he will be in it. But below, I'm going to do a key, and I love Greatest Honor here. I mean, it's hard not to. That said, off of what we've seen the last couple of races, if someone's going to get out to the front, it's going to be hard to catch him at this point. But no, I like him. There's one other thing I'd like to point out that's happening in the chat room right now, which is it looks like your father and a woman are having having a meetup or something going on here. What's happening right now?
It's family. I'm so disturbed that you went there. It's family. It's a cousin of ours from.
Oh, okay.
Vance, and it's him essentially taking this moment to catch up with her.
Because it's it felt like I was reading ABR Tinder all of a sudden. What's happening right now? Well, anyway, who does Miriam like? Dan's dad? Who's Miriam like? And Dan's dad is like, quesadilla time, playa.
Allie, what were you saying? Please change the subject.
No, I do think racing Tinder is not a bad idea through America's racing.
I think it's a great idea, actually.
If you like racing, something here. Bond over your love of racing, perhaps you can go meet someone, go to Churchill Down, go to Gulfstream Park, make a date. We can make it happen.
I think there's a lot of applications of this. Do you like Fire at Will? Swipe left. No, I don't.
Exactly. No, I don't. Down your credentials, on your chat, and then we'll do the matchmaking. It's fine.
I love it. Yeah. Speaking of other things that are in the comments section, we just posted for your viewing pleasure. For those last second studying, you've got an ABR Fountain of Youth Stakes cheat sheet. So it's all the information about all the runners in one quick snapshot location. Check out the cheat sheet on America's Best Racing.
Let's get back to ABR Tinder, Dan. So if you were to go on a date for ABR Tinder, which track would you go to?
Ooh.
Well, fine. I'll ask your dad and Miriam. Where would they go on ABR Tinder then?
Del Mar. It's got to be Del Mar, and then hit the beach. Hit the bars on the beach.
Yeah.
Anything in
Ascot.
California.
Ascot.
Oh, well, we're thinking worldwide. Yeah, well, yeah. Ascot would impress, but that's an expensive date. Yeah.
Aqueduct. Travis Wilson says aqueduct.
In the infield at Pimlico.
Bram, I know you become a big stock guy. Did you invest in Bumble with the IPO now?
Not because it was like I like to invest in things I know, and I don't know that, fortunately, and I don't know that. So, or I like to invest in things that people on Reddit tell me to buy immediately, even if I don't know what they are. So, and Bumble wasn't one of those. Like, the Reddit people did not tell me to buy Bumble. The Reddit people told me to buy something called Denison Mines and some weed companies and a couple of other GameStop and AMC. Like, I can't even believe AMC. Is a movie theater open right now? Like, why would I buy stock in that? But they told me to do that. So I listened to the Reddit people, and I listened to things I know. So, like, I bought The Score. They just went IPO the other day because it's gambling. So I bought The Score. But outside of that, no, I didn't do Bumble. Did you?
No Bumble for me. No Bumble at all. I wish I did. I mean, it jumped up to like 70 something first day. We've got a live report. We're going to bring her in. Ashley Mailloux. Ashley. You hear us, Ashley? Ashley? Do you hear us? Oh, no. Oh, the lights are going down. This is not good.
It's quesadilla time.
Look at who's on the beach. Did you see that? All the palm trees.
It's so nice. You guys been to Gulfstream?
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah, it's got an awesome the parade ring, the paddock, whatever you want to call it. It's like got 5 stories around it. It's pretty sort of impressive.
Yeah, the walking ring. It's gorgeous. The whole thing is, and there's a casino there. So you get in all sorts of trouble. I want to share, since we've talked so much about this bet that we're all making, I want to show you how easy it is on First Bet. So right now, if you look at your screen, that's the First Bet interface, and I'm gonna do it all from the beginning. I'm gonna actually add money. You're gonna see me add money to this, and it's on me. It's on me today. I'm going.
Oh, Dan.
It's my fault. I shamed him into this. Because he told me we got to make this bet, and I said, "You covered it, Dan."
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Money is in the account. Okay. Good. So that's done. Look at that color.
See, ladies? See how easy it is with Dan? Yeah. Welcome back to ABR Tinder. Dan just puts money in wherever it needs to go. That's it.
The money's in the account now. So now we'll try Ashley one more time and then come back to this. Let's see. Oh, where'd you go? Well, she was up. Okay. Let's start with, let's see. Ashley, are you there?
I can hear you guys, but you're really breaking up on my end.
Oh, I hear you now. Do you hear us?
I can hear you guys. I can't see anything.
All right. That's fine. Tell us what's going on there. What's your view? What are you seeing?
Right now, can you see me guys though? Can you see me?
We can see you.
Okay, cool. Let me see if I can rotate this. Let me see if this works. Ooh, here we go. Let's do back camera. So now you guys should be able to see the track, correct?
Ah, there we go.
Oh, look at that sky.
So I'm over here just before the first wire here. There's 2 at Gulfstream Park. We're having technical difficulties. The Wi-Fi is down. Not the greatest day for that right now. That's why you guys keep on cutting in and out. But just wrapped up the very one. I thought that performance from Antoinette was pretty impressive.
I'm so jealous of that. I mean, she's outside. I feel like I've been in my basement for a year, and she got to go outside. What's that like?
She's
What's the world like, Ashley? What's going on?
Why I'm slightly happy that her signal went out right when she started talking about Antoinette again.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I don't need to relive that. I'm good. Okay, bets. Let's go back to this. Let's see. Let's start with Allie. Take us through your bet.
So I, as I said, I really like Greatest Honor. and with the money back part of the first bet. So I've sort of gone in quite hard on him with $15 to win. And we actually discussed this a bit earlier because you guys have some quite sort of exotic bets in the States. So I liked him enough that I wanted to just put more on him, $15 on Greatest Honor, and then Prime Factor. It was between Prime Factor and Drain the Clock. But a couple of hours ago, I sided with Prime Factor as a bit of a bigger price with a bit of an each way bet on him. So I don't know whether you can see what I'm betting, but
so what?
Yeah.
So wait,
for a place on Prime Factor.
So what are you going? You're going $5? Okay.
Yeah, so $15 on Greatest Honor and a place on Prime Factor.
Okay, so you can see how easily you did that. We click on the horse's name, you put the amount in whatever position you want, and remember, if you're betting with first bet right now, up to $20 back. So if Greatest Honor doesn't win but finishes second or third, you get the money back. So let's go. Place all bets.
And actually, I mean, over here we have great incentives as well. But if you are new to betting, check out the deals and the kind of the specials, the offers that they have on these bookmakers, because they're really good. And that kind of if you think you're going to get your money back, you think, why not? Let's go for the favorite. Whereas I wouldn't normally sort of put you always think it's a bit boring going straight for the favorite. But if you think you're going to get your money back, you might as well have a bet on that one and then put your money on something else as well.
Look, it's not as risky as I would like. But
yeah, I know. God, yeah.
No, I get it. Bram.
All right, so I'll once again point out that Dan made me tell him what this bet was a long time ago, and I probably would change it now. But I'll stick with what we have because the graphic was made, and I don't want to, upset the apple cart. So I will take Greatest Honor on top of. I bet a trifecta. I'm gonna key Greatest Honor over 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, and the one we haven't talked about yet that I actually kind of like a little bit is the name of the horse I can't pronounce, the 5. I like the number here, so I'm hoping that if Greatest Honor does run away with this thing, that I get a price below him there, and I do appreciate this, the give back here. And in Allie's case, I want her to change this because if you're gonna get it back, take a horse with the odds to win, and therefore it's like the insurance of it doesn't happen. But that's just my GameStop, AMC, Reddit, advice to how to deal with the first bet thing. But this 5 horse, which is now 90 to 1, is that right? 90 to 1. Girafales, whatever the name is, whatever's going on there. I actually kind of like that one to sneak in, but at 90 to 1, I'm now starting to feel like I'm way off on that. But hopefully, I'm hoping hits the board underneath Greatest Honor, who I think, at least thought was going to win until I saw the last couple of races. And if someone's going to shoot out, drain the clock, I think we're all in trouble there.
All right, Bram, your bet's going in now. Dollar trifecta, 8 with 1, 2, 4, 5, 7. Bet going in. By the way, since I bet this with you, I get half the money if it hits. So
if you give me half the money on the 50 to 1 horse, it's a deal.
Okay, so with your trifecta, 8 has to win, and then any of the other ones coming in second or third.
Right.
Ah, nice.
All right, I'm going to do mine. I'm going to go a little.
Wow, you guys are so you're so exotic and risky.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like it. That can be your Tinder profile.
Maybe our Tinder, Mr. Exotic.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going with an exacta, not quite as exotic as Bram's try. I'm going to do a drain the clock over Greatest Honor exacta.
Oh, you changed your mind on that, haven't you? You didn't have to declare.
Yeah, so I'm going to go 1 with 8, $10 here, but then I'm going to mess around with a little trifecta in a second. So let's go ahead and place that bet in. And then we're going to go back and play the trifecta. By the way, just so I can narrate a little bit, if you haven't been following what I'm doing, it's all super simple, especially on first bet. Just big, bold type here. Choose your bet type. It gives you all the options here. You can do the basic win, play, show, Allie, I'm not saying you're basic. I'm just saying that the bets are basic.
That's your Tinder profile now.
In the dark ages over here, we just do simple bets.
Simple bets.
Yeah.
Then you get into,
and that's not my profile either. Simple and whatever you say.
Simple and basic.
Yeah, basic and simple. That's fine. Yeah.
and this is guys. So if you want to bet the super high five, you got to pick the first 5 finishers here. That's
In the exact order.
in the exact order.
Woo.
We're going to stay
order. Have you ever done that?
I've played. I've hit it for small amounts. I mean, I haven't.
Wow.
Haven't hit long shots, but yeah, I mean, I've hit it for smaller amounts. I don't play it that often. I mean, it's obviously a very high risk, high reward play. So, and in the trifecta, you see it down there, 1-8 with 1-6-7-8. Let's go 1-8. Clicking off all the spots, and then 6-7-8. 1-6-7-8 in the second and third spot, and then in the final spot, I'm going to add fire at will, just in case. I mean, I don't think the horse is going to win, but I'd be surprised if he runs an honest race. That's a $9 bet, so I'm checking in just slightly short of the $20 cap. I am not taking advantage of the cashback opportunity, but if you're smart, you will. So you should do that.
Smart, basic, and simple.
This is one. I mean, but there's a good reason to be simple here when you know you're going to get the money back for second or third, especially with a horse like Greatest Honor. Now the question is, let's look at odds. Where is every horse? So I'm going to click on Watch Live here, and you'll see the video just pops right up, crystal clear HD. We're going to see him in the paddock. Now Greatest Honor is 3-5.
We'll let you know.
So are you rethinking that bet
the
now?
feature race of the afternoon.
Looks well.
Looks well. That was good timing too, right when we turned it on. Want to hear from the audience. Who are you betting? Travis Wilson feeling the Greatest Honor money back and prime factor to win. Paul Armstrong says Carmouche wins. What do you think of Carmouche wins? Anybody? That's fire at will, by the way, Carmouche. Drain the Clock, Greatest Honor, Exacta. And Darwin loves all of it. So, yeah, let us know who you're betting. This is a long shot play, Tarantino and Gaffleone. So that's it, 14-1. 14-1 is a nice little price on Tarantino. I want to talk about Tarantino for just a second. It was overshadowed by Greatest Honors winning the Holy Bull, but the race that Tarantino ran that day, I thought was extremely impressive. Got caught out a bit wide early and then kept pressure on the pace setter throughout. The horse was neck and neck. With another horse who ended up finishing last, like 20 lengths behind. Tarantino plugged on, kept fighting, held second behind Greatest Honor. And that was his first race on the dirt. It was also his first graded stakes race. And looking back, we also got a sense for his grit when he raced in the Zuma Beach Stakes. Let's take a look at him there in the Zuma Beach Stakes. He'll be the one horse battling in between horses. This is a road to the Derby backdrop.
And Wonder Stables,
they turn for home. In Jest hugs the rail, goes on very willingly, has a 2-length lead with a furlong to go. Big Fish finding his best stride, and now Cotopaxi takes off, as does Tarantino. A driving finish. Cotopaxi on the inside, Abico on the outside, and Tarantino in between them. Abico, Tarantino, nose and nose. Abico and Tarantino in a desperately close finish.
I like this horse. And I like 14-1.
Tarantino?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard when in the last race it was just romped, so it's just so hard to see it, but I'm with you, and it's why it's in my bet. I think it's a good price, especially at 14-1. I think it's a really good price. So I'm with you there. I think there's value there. I got a hard time buying he wins. But again, I'm looking for some value, underneath Greatest Honor, because I think that's the way this thing is going to play out. And that certainly is one of them, in my opinion.
Crockett and Tubbs. This was Mr. Quesadilla, if you don't remember. Leaving out King's Ovation at your own peril. I like King's Ovation. I use King's Ovation underneath in my trifecta. Comes in off a second place finish to drain the clock. You know, what I liked about that race was how well he settled off the pace and was able to make a pretty sharp move late. He did get jostled around while making the move around the turn, and he still kind of, you know, battled on, which I really like. I'm just looking for heart. I'm looking for horses who can overcome adversity. These are young horses. You're looking for them to take that next step and show you something that you haven't seen so far. And you know, King's Ovation did that to a certain extent. What I don't like about this horse is that the pace may not be as hot, and so it might not set up quite as well for him to run into a slice of it late. And so unless he's there on class and ability, he's gonna have to work a little harder. But 25-1, I can't believe in this horse out of your combinations.
How much is course form important at Gulfstream, do you guys think? Do you think it's quite key to have run well at the course before?
I think so. I mean, I think certain days there's a more pronounced, you know, bias. You know, I hate using it as like sort of a, you know, it's an excuse when I don't win. But you know, obviously there are some days where it's, you know, it pays to be near the lead. In fact, most days, I mean, it's pretty good to be near the front there. But yeah, if you can show that, you know, you can do it over the course, that certainly helps. I think just as much there as anywhere else.
Okay. A lot of these horses, though, run, you know, all run at Gulfstream recently, haven't they? Certainly.
Yeah, for the most part, they have. Yeah. Let's see. My throat. Sorry, guys. This is post-COVID. Post-COVID.
Have you had it?
Mm-hmm.
When?
Not fun. Had it in December. Still dealing a little bit. But, you know, it's good. I feel fortunate. I mean, given the fact that, you know, you've heard so many people, you know, who haven't, you know, who obviously who have struggled coming out of it. You know, the effects could be, you know, months or longer. So we're battling. I don't want to make this about COVID. Bram.
We're forgetting about that. We're all thinking we're in the sunshine in Florida. Yeah, it would be lovely. What about one for Antonio Sano, who won, of course, Gunavera won this race a few years ago. He's if you guys, you know his backstory. He trained in Venezuela. He got kidnapped, and then they sort of had to pay a ransom. But he's a lovely guy, and he's done so well with Gunavera. But I'm not sure his one in this is quite as good.
Yeah, I mean, this horse is a battler. I mean, we're talking about Papitu on the outside. You know, I think he's really competitive. Looked really good. You talked about horses for the course. I mean, looked really good winning his first two career races at Gulfstream last summer. I think he was humbled when he went to Saratoga and started, you know, knocking heads with like New York Grade 1 company. And then last out, you know, was kind of right there. Just didn't, couldn't make much of a late impact. I have some distance questions with him. I think, you know, he might be better shorter, but, we'll see. Right before this race, by the way, since I've now got my throat back, and we can set this up a little bit. Another classic running of the Fountain of Youth Stakes happened in 1995 for the people are familiar with that year's Road to the Derby. The horse who won the Fountain of Youth Stakes went on to win the Kentucky Derby. Let's take a look back at what happened in 1995 in this race.
As the field comes to the top of the stretch, Suave Prospect now here, battling with Thunder Gulch on the outside. Oliver's Twist is running a brave race today. Jambalaya Jazz on the far outside. Down to the final furlong, Thunder Gulch, Suave Prospect shoulder to shoulder. They've been brushing each other through the stretch, and it's Thunder Gulch driving on the lead. Suave Prospect brave at the inside. Those two nip and tuck down to the line. Thunder Gulch won it in a brave and determined effort.
Nice little battle, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. I thought that was exciting. That was amazing. Thunder Gulch went on to win the Florida Derby and then the Kentucky Derby and the Belmont. So,
what do you got here, Dan?
So, I think Drain the Clock is interesting. I think we've seen, not just because it's on theme, but, I think we've seen some horses who can get loose, get to the front. I think this horse is quality. Drain the Clock, I think, gets to the lead, If he's loose, I think he's got enough to hold off Greatest Honor. I think Greatest Honor makes a serious move and finishes second. And then underneath that, I like a multi-way battle for third between Tarantino, King's Ovation, the 6-horse, 25-1 right now, and Fire at Will, who's 5-1.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I still have a hard time going against Greatest Honor here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm spooked a little bit by, he's probably not going to be a front runner here, and I think we've seen the last couple of races what's happened here when someone's gotten out, and so I'm a little spooked by that. But I think he's the class of the field, so I'll stay with it, and I think it's Greatest Honor here.
This race will be shown live in HD and with audio here coming up in a moment. Keep sending in your picks. Keep letting us know who you like, why you like them. And Allie, final thoughts here as they circle before the gate here to get into the Fountain Youth Stakes.
Yeah, Greatest Honor. Talked about this one a lot. Yep, that's my pick. And the dangers are for me Prime Factor and Drain the Clock. So yes, it'll be great if we have a horse that we can all get excited about heading to the Florida Derby and then the Derby, and with the Triple Crown being run in the correct order this year, on the correct dates with big crowds and ABR Tinder going brilliantly as well. Yeah, a load of dates at the Kentucky Derby.
You could say the Derby, by the way. Derby's fine. You can call
okay.
it.
No. I like it. I like Derby.
We've got some viewers in Venezuela.
Yeah, well, they'll be going for Sane's horse, won't they?
Well, maybe in some combinations, but in terms of a win pick, our friend here likes Fire at Will. So we'll see how it goes. Just a reminder, if you're just tuning in, if you haven't heard about Gulfstream Park Live Road to the Derby, we are going to be streaming live again on Florida Derby Day, which is March 27th. You could catch us on America's Best Racing's Twitter and Facebook channels. You could also catch us on Gulfstream Park's channels on March 27th. So that's the big one. So many classic, so many champions have come out of that race. So many Derby winners have come out of that race. That's the one you want to watch for, March 27th. We'll be back here live again. We'll show you the races. We'll set it up for you. And we'll just hang out. We'll kind of hear who you like, and we'll make cases. And hopefully we'll throw out another 50-1 winner.
You're going to bring that every single time now, isn't it? Every single live show. Of course, that 50-1 winner that you tipped, yeah.
We're going to do a bunch of promo videos with that. Greg, I know Greg can hear us. Our video producer, he knows that we're going to create a bunch of promo videos with that 50-1. So get ready for it.
All right, well, I'm saying it out loud here. I still like the 5 at 80-1. Since we're playing that game today, I still like that 5 to hit the board. I'm not sure I think he's going to win, but I like him to hit the board today.
All right, we're going to give you not only the audio, but we're going to give you the full screen experience here so you can watch the Fountain of Youth Stakes. On the other end of it, we'll come back. We'll wrap it up. This has been a lot of fun. I hope you've made some money while watching us. Hope you're enjoying the show. And let's see, Travis
Settle is ready now.
Has his niece's fourth birthday party. So definitely a useful stream that day. We're happy to help out any way we can. So Travis, enjoy this race. Good luck. Thank you for watching today. Everybody on who's commenting and sharing selections, thank you for joining us today and being a part of it. And again, hope you cash here. Still one big chance to cash a ticket here.
We're not leaving before it's over, right, Dan?
No, we're not. Hang on.
Walking a bit at the start.
Hang on. I know you want to leave. I know you're ready.
No. Dan, overtime Tordjman.
Will is ready. 3 more. Waiting for Girafales.
So you have a horse here acting up a little bit on the outside. The 9. Big long shot, 99-1.
There's my guy. All right, come on. Make me right for once. 90-1. Just come in second. I'll feel good about that. Come in second.
Yeah, you get credit for second at 99-1.
I do get credit for 99. What is going on? This is like a stonk thing. What's happening? All of a sudden, this is like my horse is a cryptocurrency. He's like 20-1. Now he's 99-1. Like, what's happening?
He'll be 3-1 in a moment.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, everyone. Enjoy the Fountain of Youth Stakes. We'll be back on the other side of this race, so stay with us.
They're at the post. And they're off in the 74th edition of the Fasig-Tipton Fountain of Youth Stakes. From the rail, Drain the Clock was away quickly, and he's on the lead early. In tight between horses with Fire at Will as So Subtle tried to move up on the outside of the leader. Tarantino is wide on the course, and King's Ovation's in that second flight. A length and a half better than Prime Factor. Then long shot Tiz Tacto. Girafales is down toward the inside with outside running Greatest Honor next. And the early trailer is Papa 2 as the field is separated by 9 lengths with Drain the Clock in front. Drain the Clock and Edgard Zayas in front by Annette Kendrick Carmouche turning up the heat with Breeders' Cup winner Fire at Will on the outside second. 3 wide Tarantino is now third. So Subtle is at the rail fourth. Back to fifth goes King's Ovation, then 6 toward the rail in Prime Factor. Tiz Tacto is eighth. Moving up on the outside in Greatest Honor, then Girafales. And at the back is Papa 2. The opening quarter mile was 23-4. The half mile was 47 seconds flat as they go to the first finish line. Up front, Drain the Clock leads by a length. Moving up on the outside, Tarantino is second. So Subtle is third. Fire at Will is called it a days. Dropping back, passed by King's Ovation. Greatest Honor's got a tall task ahead of him. He's yet to make a move, and he's better than 7 or 8 lengths off the lead. Passed now by Papa 2, who gets started for Junior Alvarado, but they've yet to reel in Drain the Clock. Drain the Clock and Edgard Zayas to the top of the stretch, a length and a half in front. Papa 2 is charging hard for Junior Alvarado. He just went up into second from Tarantino back third. Then Prime Factor and Greatest Honor as they turn for home. Up front, Drain the Clock trying to carry his speed. From the outside, Papa 2. Now Greatest Honor hitting high gear. And here he comes now. Greatest Honor finding his best stride right when he needs to. And he's going to run down Drain the Clock to win the Fountain of Youth. Greatest Honor for the money. Drain the Clock with a good try second. Papa 2 put up a huge effort for...
Well. That was impressive.
Yeah, he had to work for that. He didn't
I mean, look, V2 made a nice move, made a rally, but obviously just came up just a bit short, ran out of gas. Greatest Honor sustained a run from off the screen.
Yeah.
Off the screen and went by to win. That was a super impressive win by Greatest Honor.
Well, they made the turn. I didn't think he was going to do it. I just, for what we'd seen the last couple of races, you get out in front and you're not going to be caught. I think that ought to tell you the class that Greatest Honor is, that he was able to do that on this particular day. That was a heck of a run down the stretch there. That's powerful run. That's Derby-like stuff. I mean, that's big time, huge.
And look at the jockeys hardly moving in the last few hundred meters. He obviously, he just asked him to quicken. He went away, and he just could sort of sit there and, let him sort of speed past the horses. He just wasn't really working, particularly hard on him in the last few hundred. Look at him; he's just cruising past him. Yeah, impressive.
You could see position. Yeah, he was just he just showed him the whip. He didn't use the whip.
No.
So
hey, our Santo horse, Papa 2.
Very nice run.
Pretty dangerous for 1 minute, yeah.
Yeah, he does have a Gunnevera feel to him. You're right. I mean, he has a Gunnevera feel, that late kick there like that, and maybe not good enough to win, but a really nice. Oh, look who it is in fifth, outrunning his odds.
Wow. I was only 8 lengths away from being right, everybody. How about that?
You should have played the super high five.
Super high five, I might have had a shot, but that would have been the one where I had the 10 horse out, and I would have been like you and walked out of the room and never done one of these with you ever again. Like if I had that one 99-1 in there, I would have been like, that's it, I'm done, I'm over.
Oh my God. Hey, that's Orb all over again. We showed you the replay earlier. That kind of felt a little bit like Orb. Shug McGahee closing from off the pace. A lot there to be excited about with Greatest Honor. I mean,
so what's next for him? Florida Derby, probably.
Yeah.
Florida Derby. I would assume Drain the Clock will run again. The distance to me for Drain the Clock would be a serious question off of seeing this, even in the result that he had here. Yeah. But that looked too easy, for Greatest Honor, honestly. So, if you're looking for an early watch out, here comes someone for the Derby, it's that one. We just saw it. That was a powerful move.
Yeah, let's just talk briefly before we wrap up. Allie, what's your take on the race Drain the Clock ran? I mean, obviously to be out there every step of the way. The fractions were honest, but for this level, you got to be able to put up fractions like that and kick on, and he did. What's your ultimate assessment?
Yeah, I think that he ran a fairly predictable race. We knew he was going to head out in front, and the question was whether he was going to be caught. And with a horse like Greatest Honor, with that kick and that ease into sort of the next gear up, it was pretty obvious he was going to be caught. Take Greatest Honor out of the race, and we'd be looking at Drain the Clock and sort of thinking like the last few races, you get out in front, it's hard to catch. But to be honest, it was Greatest Honor first, the rest nowhere. I mean, he was super smart. Yeah, you wouldn't, if that race was run, another 5 times, you wouldn't ever look past Greatest Honor to win it again. I don't think there's any hard luck stories in that race. He was given plenty to do by his jockey, and as you say, turning in, he thought he'd have too much to do. He was so far back, and having seen the last few races, so impressive. I like the fact that he just he kicked on, but when he found the front, he didn't idle at all, and he looked to have a bit in hand as well.
I mean, the amazing part really here is, like, they watched the races before this too. They saw what was going on. They knew Drain the Clock was going to run out to the front, and they ran their race anyway and won. And it did it, again, it was close, but he did it easily. Like, he just flew by him. That ought to tell you that the ceiling is very high here for this horse, like very, very high. I think outside of him, I think the most impressive one was Papatoo. And is there a place to go for him? Because if there is, then he could be a factor here on the trail. Or if that's the best that he's got, then he's a good horse who's not going to reach that type of level. But if there's a place to go up from that, that's the big surprise for me today. And outside of that, Greatest Honor was more impressive than I thought he would be. And it predictably happened exactly as what you would have thought. Drain the Clock runs out there, and he ran him down and seemed to shrug him off. It was almost too easy, really.
Yeah. Look, Drain the Clock, I expect, he certainly, presented himself, did well for himself here. You're going to see him back, I would think, in the Florida Derby. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see Pepito and Tarantino in the Florida Derby as well. They both ran solid races. Tarantino charted a little bit of a wide course, not making excuse. I want to go back and watch that replay again. But had every shot to get there and just didn't. Was fourth best here. May not necessarily be a Derby win candidate, but he's picking up points here and there, and you might see horses like Pepito and Tarantino just have enough points to get into the Kentucky Derby. So you follow the trail. As I said, the next big prize is the Florida Derby. Even if Greatest Honor wins it or Drain the Clock wins it, you have, other points that you can get for finishing second, third, fourth, and that'll get you into the Derby. But if you're somebody who's a fan and want to get behind a horse who's just, there's no telling what the ceiling is, Greatest Honor is an exciting horse right now. He's a horse you want to keep an eye on as we move toward the Derby. Just a couple of quick notes on a few other horses. Fire at Will put a little pressure on, or at least tried to put a little pressure on Drain the Clock early, but backed out of it pretty badly. I think this was a little bit of an experiment, and I don't know that you see Fire at Will back in these Derby Trail races. I think he did well for himself on the turf. I think maybe they go back to that. Prime Factor, a little disappointing as well. Was sitting off of it, unless something happened that I didn't see. Had really no excuse to be a non-factor. It just did not seem to fire at all again. And so those two, I think, maybe you see, off the trail, at least short term. Maybe you see them at some point down the road, or like I said with Firewell, you see turf as what they try next. Here are some of our payouts. Ali, congrats, you won. Greatest Honor. You got even money at the end, which isn't bad.
So I'm up.
You're up. You're up.
I can afford about half a beer or something. Yeah.
And what I missed, right? I didn't have the 10, so I missed my try.
Well, don't worry, Bram. I hit the try.
Oh,
but only for 50 cents. So I didn't see what it paid. I don't know if you guys caught it. I'm sure I was hoping it came with Drain the Clock first, because obviously I would have hit the exacta, the straight exacta, and the try, but whatever. It is what it is.
So you're buying us all beers? Have you made that much?
If I hit this pick 4, I would have sent you a case of beer. I absolutely would have.
No, Allie, he's buying us all quesadillas. That's what he's buying us.
Should we look at what this pick 4 paid just to lament a little bit?
Oh yeah. Oh Dan, you're massive.
No, don't.
I like to if I lose these things, I just don't want to know. I'm out after that.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
All right. Well, for today, we're out. Thank you so much, Bram Weinstein, Allie Vance. This has been Gulfstream Park Road to the Derby Live. We will see you again in a couple of weeks for Florida Derby. Bye.
Thanks very much.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Ground on her inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.